Hey folks, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to what is going to end up being a series of videos. I had really only intended to make this one, but you guys delivered in such a strong way that I had so many suggestions that I'm gonna have to make it like a 2 to maybe 3-part series. So here we go. Welcome to the first video in the Sip or Dip series. And I know that sounds vaguely inappropriate, but I promise you, it's not what you're thinking. So I've been seeing AniTubers and even video game folk do smash or pass for fictional characters for a while now, and I wanted to do one for a little bit, but I felt like that'd be kind of weird because if you don't know, I'm Ace, which means the mere act of smash, and not Detroit Smash, but like smash as in like, you know what. It kind of just bores me / makes me uncomfortable, so I didn't want to do that. So I wanted to give it my own spin, and what do I love more than anything? Tea and coffee. So I thought it would be a little bit more my speed to do a Sip or Dip, the name given to me by the wonderful @Veridin Veridin's been a friend of the channel for a while. He came up with the name, and I just thought it was too cool not to use. So would I take them out for a sip of coffee, or would I dip the instant I saw them? That's what the premise of this series is. And when I said on Twitter that I would be doing this as like a one-off video, and I asked for suggestions, you guys flooded my mentions. So I am going to likely have a handful of parts for this. So thank you so much for all the suggestions, and we're gonna try to get to as many of them as we can. Again, like I said, this is just part 1 of what is gonna be at bare minimum like a 3-part series. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it with the first character on the bracket. The first one is Toya Mochizuki from Isekaiwa Smartphone, submitted by Caster for Life 11. If you don't know, Caster is a lovable rogue on this channel, aka a lovable troll. Toya gets a dip. I'm gonna dip the instant I see Toya. Not so much that I think he's like a bad person, you know, because he's not a bad person. I don't think he'd make a horrible husbando either. It's just he's so like a nothing character, which I know is bothering a lot of smartphone fans, but I mean, I've been bothering smartphone fans for a while. You know that if you like smartphone, I'm saying all the power to you. I just think smartphone is better enjoyed as a so bad that it comes all the way around, it becomes actually kind of good because of how bad it is type of show. And the same can be extended to Toya himself. He's just sort of there. In fact, if I showed you this character, like just the face, not the clothes, or if I like painted his white cloak like an all black, you'd think he's Kirito. You would think he's Kirito. Only at least Kirito is like fun. Toya is just sort of there. I can think of many other people I would rather have a sip of coffee with, so I would dip from Toya on sight. Not because I think he's bad, just because I'd be like, oh, it's Toya. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of go duck behind the Tim Hortons until he leaves. Bet you didn't expect me to answer that one honestly, did you, Caster? There you go. The next character on our list is Ranga the Blood Edge from Blaze Blue, submitted by ALXW23. You know what? Ooh, this is tough. I think I gotta give Ranga a dip. I'm gonna say dip on Ranga. Ranga's not a bad character. Like, it's not so much that he's a bad character. It's not like Toya. It's more just that he's aggressive in not a fun way. Ranga's he's the lead character of a fighting game franchise, you know, like he's very aggressive. But that said, I would have coffee, like I would go out for a sip of coffee with maybe a character like Ryu. So it's not universal, but Ranga is like your typical angry like video game fighting character, specifically anime fighting game character. And Ranga just too aggressive for me. I do like me a project, you know, I do like a project here and there. And maybe I can, you know, calm the angry, fiery soul that is Ranga the Blood Edge. But from the very limited experience I have with Blaze Blue, he just always came off as a little too aggro for me. So I'm going to have to say dip. Gonna have to hide until Ranga leaves, or hopefully just notices that I'm there and walks the other way. The next character on our list is Nicholas, aka Nico, from Gangsta. This one submitted by Neko-chan211. Nico, I'm gonna say sip. I would go out for a coffee with Nico, which I'm sure is gonna blow some people's minds, or at least blow their hair back, because for me to say sip to Nico and dip to Ranga is probably gonna seem a little bit weird, because Nico is also very aggressive, incredibly so. But the difference is that Nico is he's a kind soul if you get to know him. He has to specifically like you, and even then, it's not so much that he's a kind soul. I shouldn't have maybe used that specific term. It's more that if you're his friend, he is cool, and he's calm and collected. And while he is deaf, he is able to actually carry conversations, and if you know sign language, that's even better. I don't, but I would be willing to learn to go have a cup of coffee with Nico, and I'm sure this man has some excellent stories in his repertoire. Not to mention, Nico's quite the looker, and the dude is badass. You would feel safe going out to have a cup of coffee with Nico. Not that you wouldn't with any of these other characters, it's just a cup of coffee. But still, I feel like, yeah, going out for a cup of coffee with Nico seems like a good idea. I'm sure he'd rather have a pint, but it's coffee. That's the premise of these videos, so yeah. I'd go have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea with Nicholas. That seems weirdly pleasant given the character that it is. But yeah, I'd say sip. The next character on our list is none other than the kindest soul there ever done was, which admittedly might be giving away what the rating's gonna be. It's Aerith from Final Fantasy VII. Aerith is getting a huge sip. Aerith is 100% sip of coffee, 100% would go out on a coffee date with Aerith. Now, I am possibly opening up the comments to a potential shipping/waifu war, which I don't mean to. Allow me to very much emphasize something. This has to be made clear. Aerith is not Tifa. Tifa is not Aerith. You can like both, and you can even assume that both are indeed best girl/best waifu. That's perfectly fine. You can like both as waifus. I happen to like both. I don't really have a preference, and even if I did, like if you asked me today, I might say Aerith. If you asked me tomorrow, I might say Tifa. I think they're both great for different reasons, and I think Aerith is, between the two, Aerith would be the perfect person to go out on a coffee date with. I will say that. I think Tifa's like the perfect person. I would love to go like hiking with Tifa, but I would love to go have a cup of coffee with Aerith. I think Aerith is the sweetest freaking video game character of them all. I love Aerith so much. She's just everything. She's adorable. She's so kind. She's cool, like especially in the new game. I love how like fun and upbeat and plucky she is, and on top of that, her gameplay is fabulous. I loved playing as Aerith. Like, in fairness, I liked playing as just about everybody in Final Fantasy VII Remake, but Aerith is fun. I like using magic. Aerith is a magic-based character. I liked her progression system. I like everything about her, and I know that shouldn't be factored in when I'm talking about whether or not I would run away on site or go have a cup of coffee with these people, but it matters to me, and honestly, Aerith just, she's so great. Of course, I would go have a sip of coffee with Aerith, of course. Mind you, I feel like there'd be two soldier boys who would try to kill me, but I mean, just bring them too. Bring the whole Final Fantasy VII gang. Just bring everybody. Let's all go out for coffee. It's gonna be a great time. The next character is Shuichi Sahara from Danganronpa V3. This one's submitted by Lila Joba 9. Shuichi, this is another tough one. I'm gonna say Shuichi is sip. I would go out for coffee with Shuichi. I'm hesitant because Shuichi comes with a significant amount of baggage. A lot of the V3 characters do. Oh my god, like everybody in V3 comes with a significant amount of baggage. And I will say that there's elements to Shuichi that are a little bit like Shinji-ish, which would bug me. I don't really want to have coffee with Shinji, you know what I'm saying? But Shuichi's not Shinji levels of Shinji. He's just, he has that like inferiority complex to a small extent. But he is a good lad. I trust him a lot, and especially seeing his growth throughout the series of events that take place in V3. I'd say Shuichi is more than worthy of a cup of coffee. I would pay. Not only would I go out for coffee with Shuichi, I was gonna say I'd pay for Shuichi's coffee, but that's just not true. That's just not true. I wouldn't pay for Shuichi's coffee. I'd pay for Aerith's coffee. Probably even pay for Nico's coffee. I don't know if I'd pay for Shuichi's coffee. I would take Shuichi out, but he'd have to pay for his own cup of coffee. And I'd try to see if I could maybe weasel him into getting me a donut or something. I like Shuichi, I promise. I realize that this is making it sound like I don't like him. I do. It's just of the V3 characters, he's somewhere in the middle for me. Like, I like his character. I loved seeing him grow and evolve and change. But there's so many other V3 characters, and especially so many other Danganronpa characters that I'd much rather go have a coffee with. But yeah, hesitant sip. I would hesitantly say I would go have coffee with Shuichi. The next character that we must decide whether we sip or dip on them is none other than Ignace from Final Fantasy VII 15, submitted by Urzaries. And allow me to tell you something about Ignace. By the end of the game, and especially on reflection of the game, Ignace is not only the best part of Final Fantasy XV, Ignace is the reason to play Final Fantasy XV. The rest of the cast, literally just about everybody save maybe Prompto, is not very good. I don't really like Final Fantasy XV as much as I once did, which is sad, but the one thing that has remained ever constant is that Ignace is the toppest of the top tier. In a sea of meh, Ignace stands supreme as champion husbando material. Prompto's fun. I will say Prompto is a fun character. I like Prompto, but I love Ignace. Gladio is annoying, and Noctis is probably the worst Final Fantasy protagonist ever. One of my least favorite video game protagonists in general. But the fact that Ignace is so dedicated to such a nothing protagonist like Noct says a hell of a lot about him. Ignace is loyal, he's kind, and he's so protective, but not in like a smothering way. You know, like he cares about you. He's willing to tell you, he's willing to tell you how he's feeling without like bombarding you with emotion. He's kind, and I think I already said he's kind, but he's also handsome. Oh my God, he's styling and profiling, to quote Ric Flair. He's got the hair that counts. My man got a fashion sense like none other. I mean, everybody in the game is at least fashionable, but Ignace's fashion is absolutely on point. He's cool as hell. He got cool moves, you know, and on top of that, he can cook. He can cook, and he can cook out of like using like basically nothing. This man can cook you a 5-star meal, which says a hell of a lot. I would happily take Ignace out for a sip. Ignace is a 10 out of 10 sip, which I realize either sounds like simp or just sounds straight up dirty, but we're using it as a endearing thing. So I would say, yeah, big sip. That really does sound dirty, my bad. Moving on, we've got Joker from Persona 5. This one's submitted by Otaku Fangirl. Joker, Joker. A hesitant sip. I'm gonna say the same thing I said about Shuichi, where I would go have coffee with Joker, but at the same time, I wouldn't pay for Joker's coffee. That's what I'll say. Joker he doesn't have much of a personality. He has as much personality as I guess the game allows a sort of self-insert character to have, because at the end of the day, as much as I love the man, and in terms of fashion, like if we're comparing fashion, he's one of the most fashionable characters on this list, and we just talked about Ignace, for crying out loud. But yeah, like Joker, fashion-wise, on point, hair, glasses, everything about, like, this man got it all down pat. This man is a 10 out of 10. But personality-wise, I don't really know Joker like that. Like, I know the other P5 characters really well, and I have a basic understanding of their characters, and most of them, I would say big sip, 100%, no question, whereas Joker, I had to kind of think about it for a little bit. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, and I don't think Joker is necessarily a bad character. For a self-insert, like, being a self-insert character, people think like, oh, that's easy. It's easy to make a bland self-insert character. It's difficult to make a self-insert like, say, Link, or, in this case, Joker. There is some character to them, and they have to have character without becoming their own, like, character that you can't put your own feelings into. You know what I mean? It's a very tight rope to walk, and I think they do walk it pretty well with Joker. I like him enough. Again, like, I think I would give him, yeah, I would maybe I'd pay for his coffee, actually. I don't know. He is like the leader of the Phantom Thieves, so you want to stay on his good side. I don't know, maybe. I'll think about it on the day. Next up on our list, we have Kumiko Ome from Sound Euphonium, submitted by Akal Bist, who admittedly, I don't know this character all that well. I'm basically just going off appearances. I know, like, who she is and where she's from, but I haven't seen, I think, past episode 2 of Sound Euphonium. Not because I thought it was bad, I just didn't really, like, it just wasn't really my thing. I should give it another go, because it is KyoAni, and I think visually speaking, all the characters look great, the backgrounds look great. It's KyoAni, everything looks great. But from what I remember, Kumiko is, now that I think about it, I don't really remember a whole lot about her. She seemed like one of those, like, constantly flustered type of characters, which would bug me. I'm gonna say Dip, which I feel bad because I think she's one of the very few, if not the one of only two female characters on this list. Y'all are slacking with the waifus, I will tell you that. But I think she's, I think she's one of only two. So I feel bad saying Dip, but I'm gonna Dip. I'm sure that Kumiko would rather have coffee with her senpai, who is the only other character from the series that I know. And she would have been a sip, but Kumiko, I don't know enough about her, and the stuff that I do know is from very early on in the series before she grows as a character. So for me, I would have to say Dip, but I wouldn't, like, run away. Like, I would just be like, oh, hey, Kumiko, I gotta go this way. Okay, it was nice seeing you. Bye. Okay. Like I wouldn't, like, run, but I would just kind of be like, hey, how's it going? And leave. I would leave politely. I wouldn't just dip on sight, but I would be like, hey, okay, I gotta go, bye. Next up is Juzo Sakura from Danganronpa 3. This one's submitted by Ophelia Main. Sip. 100%. Big sip. Biggest sip. Okay, maybe not biggest sip, but very large sip. Sip, like one of those sips where you're trying to get people's attention. That kind of sip. 100%. Juzo is a character who I hated when I first saw the show. I despised Juzo. But throughout the rest of the show, and especially upon, like, revisiting this character, oh my god, Juzo's just the best. He's probably the best part of the future arc, the more I think about it. Especially his dynamic with Homeboy there, with his dynamic with Draco. I can't remember this dude's name. Whoops. But I will say that Juzo is, I don't know, like, just, he is very standoffish. Again, this is one of those, like, I like a project type of, like, things where I have to admit to that I do like some problematic characters from time to time. I do like characters that would take a bit of work to get them on your side, and Juzo is definitely one of those characters. He's a very aggressive, very aggro type of character, but not like aggro in a wrong way. He's just like, if you can get on his good side, you're forever on his good side, and that loyalty is super strong. I don't want to get too far into it, but Juzo is a very loyal character to a fault almost. He can be aggressive, and he definitely has a tendency to be a bit of a jerk. But I would definitely go take Juzo out for a cup of coffee, just to see how the man's doing. I would even buy him a cup of coffee just to be like, hey, you know what, Juzo? You're doing good work. You're doing good work. You may have made a huge mistake at one point, and if you've seen the show, you know what I'm saying. You may have screwed everything up, but Juzo, you're trying, and I appreciate that. I really do. Also, Draco was meant to be Munakata. I forgot Munakata's name. I just looked it up now. My apologies. That's not a knock against Munakata. You guys just know me. I am awful at remembering people's names. Okay, so the next one is Travis Touchdown from No More Heroes. This one's submitted by Bizarre Duck. Hard dip. I would run the second I saw Travis Touchdown. And not because Travis is like this like unstoppable beast who like cannot be reasoned with. Although he is a badass, don't get me wrong. Travis is tough as nails. I wouldn't want to screw with Travis. But I would run, because misery follows Travis Touchdown. I don't want to know Travis. I don't want to be anywhere near Travis. If you're near Travis Touchdown is a lot like Matt Murdock, Daredevil. I say that because Travis is like he's walking chaos. And if you know anything about Matt Murdock, if you know anything about, even if you've only seen like the Daredevil TV show, if you know this person, misery will befall you. Same thing with Travis. Travis would be cool to like know as a friend of a friend. Like, oh yeah, my friend knew Travis. My friend exploded in the middle of a superhero fight, but yeah, my friend knew Travis. Oh, Travis Touchdown. That's kind of neat. I mean, he's kind of a mess, and he's also kind of a total D-bag, but like, yeah, Travis, see, the more I talk about it, the more I'm just like, yeah, he's like the hardest dip. I would dip so fast. I would run so far. I would run so far away from Travis Touchdown. That said, No More Heroes 3, I'm hype. Also, I can like a character and admit that I would never take them out for coffee, okay? I love Travis. I'm just saying, I wouldn't want to hang out with Travis. Next up on our list, we have none other than Otsu Mumia from Haikyuu. This one submitted by Shanti112. Now, this one might surprise you, but I'm actually gonna say Sip. If you saw my last Husbando bracket, you'll know that I put Atsumu as a hard no. I gave him a thumbs down, but I've changed my mind since then. Since we've heard the news that Haikyuu has gone on hiatus, I got sad and watched some of my favorite clips from To the Top so far, and I realized how much I really like Atsumu. And even though he is like incredibly shady, like Atsumu is one of the new top tier kings of shade, I still like him in like a bad boy kind of way, and I would just want to pick his brain. I would take him out for coffee. I don't know if I'd pay for his cup of coffee, but I would take Atsumu out for coffee, you know, just chit chat with him, catch up with him, see what's going on, see what he thinks of the game so far, and what he thinks of Karasuno and shit like that. I'd want to know. I would want to take him out for coffee. And he's handsome. He's handsome, isn't he? Isn't he just handsome? I don't know. I'd take him out for coffee. Maybe that's just me. I would. I'd say yeah. I'd say Zip. I'd say Zip. And now we have Lyon Ibaka from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind. This character was submitted by Weird Whimsicott, and oh my god, Sip. Ibaka. Oh man. Actually, you know what? I don't know. I'm gonna say Sip because here's the thing. I'm not part of the gang, right? Like, I'm not part of Bruno's gang, of Bujarati's gang. So I don't think he would be as aggressive towards me as he was towards Giorno. If he was, then this would be a hard dip. But that said, even if he was as aggro with me as he was with Giorno, as long as he isn't feeding me, or making me drink rather, his specialty tea, I'm good. I think I'm good. Because as long as I don't have to drink that, I'm fine. Because real talk, I really love Ibaka. I think Ibaka is like one of Araki's tightest written characters. I think he's got one of the coolest designs. He's got some of the most tragic backstory. One of my favorite personalities is very tsundere, especially towards Bruno. I just love Ibaka to pieces. I like, even though the man has faults, you guys know me. Say it with me now. I like a project. So yeah, I'm gonna say a big yes to Ibaka. 100% would take Ibaka out for a coffee. But specifically coffee, I don't trust this man around tea. I remember the early episodes of Golden Wind. I don't trust you, Ibaka. So yeah, we're going out for coffee, and I'm paying and watching them make the coffee. Deal? Deal. And here we have Aizen from Bleach. This one submitted by Shonen OG. I'm gonna say dip. I'm gonna say dip, and I'll tell you why. Aizen would be fun to have a coffee with because you'd feel like you're part of a scheme, you know? Like, you'd feel like you're talking about the Keikaku, where everything is going to go according to plan by, and stuff like that. But at the same time, I don't trust Aizen. Like there's some villains that I would have coffee with, like, y'all know I would have coffee with Gil from Fate, but I don't know if I'd have coffee with Aizen. Because Aizen, and I feel like even Kubo would admit this, I don't know if Kubo knew what Aizen was thinking. I don't even think Aizen knew what Aizen was thinking. Aizen's too unpredictable, and at the same time, he's too really predictable. You know what I mean? Like, I just think he's one of those villains who just, like, kills subordinates without thinking. And he just strikes me as that kind of dude. Like, unless you're incredibly important, your ass is grass. I just don't trust Aizen. I don't trust Aizen like that. That said, he is a looker. I will give him that. He is a looker. And, whether he's got the glasses or not, I think Aizen's a looker. But I just don't trust Aizen like that, and I don't really know Aizen like that either. So, yeah, I'm gonna say dip. The second I saw Aizen, I'd be like, nope, I'm going to find Strawberry. Forget this. And here we have possibly the strangest entry so far: Korosensei from Assassination Classroom, submitted by Blob Psycho 100 as the penultimate character. And I gotta say, Korosensei, you know what? Sip. I'd go have coffee with Korosensei. I don't like Korosensei in like a romantic sense, But I would go have coffee with Korosensei. You kidding? That'd be fun. Like hanging out with Korosensei for the day. I'm not the biggest Assassination Classrooms fan. It wasn't a series really for me, but I always thought Korosensei was super cool. I love the design. And I would hang out with Korosensei, if only for the sake of like taking selfies with Korosensei, because that would just be a cool moment. And on top of that too, he does seem like he'd be full of wisdom. You know, the entire like coffee date. I think it'd be really fun. I'm all up for having coffee with Korosensei. The only caveat is that if you do take Korosensei out for a coffee date, you would have to worry about the students attempting to kill him, and maybe indirectly you as well, since you're out with him, so there is a sense of danger to that. But if you're the kind of person who is into a sense of adventure, then maybe going out with Korosensei is exactly what you need. But yeah, I'm gonna say big sip to Korosensei. I did not anticipate me saying that. That is... wow. And here we have arrived at the final character of the video. Some might say that I saved the best for last. That being Guts from Berserk, submitted by Andrea Lorenzi 96. Now, as I have said before, say it with me everybody, I like a project. And Guts is the biggest project of them all. I'm just gonna get this out of the way now. Big sip. Guts, I would say sip, and I know that's gonna like make some people be like, what the hell? I would definitely go have coffee with Guts. I do think Guts would rather drink just about anything else, but I would go have coffee with Guts. Guts definitely has some baggage. This is true, and I did say that Shuichi having so much baggage is kind of a dilemma with him. And I've said that like for a couple characters, their baggage is kind of a dilemma, but with Guts, I would be willing to sit down and talk with Guts and over a cup of coffee, because Guts isn't the type of dude who gets weighed down by his baggage. Guts is like, he's a warrior. He picks that up on his back and he carries onward. And I think talking with Guts would be really interesting. He probably wouldn't have much to say. Guts isn't exactly the biggest talker. He's kind of Jotaro-ish in that sense, where you'd be doing most of the talking and he'd just be kind of grunting at you and looking around, waiting for when he can just catch the next bus home. But still, maybe after repeated coffee dates with Guts, you might slowly start to open up. You might start to see the side of Guts that maybe that I see or other people see. Now, mind you, I'm not a manga fan. You guys know me. I don't really like manga. It's not my medium. I don't really care much for manga. But I did grow up with the old Berserk show. I do love that show. And Guts is a character who has just been in pop culture for so long that even if you don't read Berserk, even if you haven't even seen Berserk, you know who Guts is. And I feel like I'm more than comfortable saying that Guts is a big 10 out of 10. And I would happily go have coffee with Guts. The only thing I ask is that we don't get attacked by demons. There's a lot of ifs, ands in this situation, but at the same time, even if demons showed up while we're having a cup of coffee, I'd feel bad for the other patrons in whatever coffee bar we're at, but I'm fine. I'm with Guts. With that said, everybody, that's been our first Sip or Dip video. I hope you guys enjoyed this new sort of video segment. I hope you're ready for 2 more of these, bare minimum 2 more. Yeah, because this was fun. I liked doing this and talking about who I'd go have coffee with and who I'd run away from. This was really fun, so I hope you guys enjoyed too. And with that said, we've reached the end of the video, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, then don't forget to boop the up snoot and share if you care. And if you want to see me rambling even more, then feel free to follow me on Twitter or join our good folks Discord, both of which are linked in the doobly-doo. Lastly, if you're feeling generous, consider checking out our Patreon page to help support this channel. Speaking of which, I'd like to give a big thank you to our lovely patrons, such as Izevi, Alex, Andrew W., Branson C., Calvin A., Crowbar of Irony, Daniel G., Deep Not That Deep, Digger the Fox, Dominic G., Emily, Ionos, Urza, Ginkotaku, Godzilla Fan, No For Nothing, Maria T., Marshall B., Mater, Mirth Mouser, Nymad, Cell, Shadow Creative, Stephen G., The Suavest Orange, Tristan G., and Verdon. Thank you all so much for your continued support over on Patreon, and once again, thank you for checking out today's video. Hope you guys have a lovely day, and until next time, you stay classy, AnyTube, and wash your dang hands.